up? Welcome to Mo Boxing No Problem. I'm Jose Mosley Jr. and I'm joined by my co-host Seek. And we got today a special guest with us. We got pro boxer Shane Mosley Jr. How's it going, Shane?
What's going on, fellas?
Nothing much. Before we get started with the interview, I do want to give another shout out to another co-host that couldn't be on here, David, aka Sports and Tunes. He's actually the one that reached out to you, Shane, via a live that you were on, and then coordinated the interview via messaging. So shout out to him and thanks again, Shane, for the time.
Yeah, dope.
Absolutely. First question we got for you, Shane. It's probably the most common asked boxing question is how you got into the sport? How you got into boxing?
Man, I was essentially born into the sport, man. Like growing up, my dad would take me to the boxing gym. Just being around boxing all the time, going to fights, things like that. My grandfather boxed. My dad boxed. Obviously, when you're a boxer, you bring that culture around. So, I was around nothing but boxers and fights and stuff like that. So it was really close, even though like growing up, I didn't think that I wanted to box or fight. I was always really close. And then once I got into the mindset and got into just being around it and getting my, taking my own blows and things like that, it was just something that I felt that was, how they say is in your blood. I think it's just more so a cultivation of being able to be around something and it be developed, right? Especially if you see it so early on in life, which I did, right? Like kids learn certain habits young and then they then take that on. Like same with me. Like literally I was getting rolled up in a stroller to the gym watching sparring, you know what I mean? So like for me, like probably punching people was like, oh, that's cool, and then also the mindset that goes around boxing and the philosophies. And I've had a lot of good coaches too. So being able to see things from that perspective as well. And, just all in all, just I love the sport of boxing. Of course, there are some areas that I hate, but, for the most part, I think there's more love than hate.
Yeah, I'm sure we're with you on one of those when it comes to judging, when the decision doesn't go the way it should go, but it's still got to love the sport, still got to get a great fights, and speaking of your dad, he had a very successful boxing career. What are some of your favorite memories of your dad in the gym or at his fights?
Man, I don't know, man. It's hard to say because there's so many, great memories with my dad. I think, especially with my dad and the sport, there's that agape love. You know what I mean? There's that love that's not like always glamorous, but you work at it every single day, and that consistency of just seeing the grind that can be boring sometimes. You learn to, like, when you look back, you go, oh shit, I've learned a lot. You know what I mean? And this means a lot to me. And then I'm doing it with my son. My son comes with me to the gym almost every day. You know what I mean? And he loves boxing and he wants to be a boxer and things like that. So it's one of those things that I feel like there's not a particular thing that I look at and go, that, but there's many sayings or many experiences that in which I could choose from, but nothing off the top of my head.
Gotcha. And Shane, can you tell us a bit about your amateur career? What are some of your major accomplishments?
Oh man, I used to suck. No, man. But for real though, man, like, I had my first amateur fight at 17 years old. And then, like when I went into that, obviously I get a lot of hype. I get a lot of people like, oh man, I want, we want to see you fight, come to our show, go to the tournament, blah, blah. And then like, obviously like everybody's there and they're like, we want to whoop his ass. Like, I don't care about nobody else. Like literally like at the US Nationals, there was so many guys that came up to me and was like, I don't care what happens in here. I want to beat you. Like literally, I won't fuck you up. Like that's it. Oh, excuse me. I don't know.
No, you're good. You're good.
Right, for sure. But anyways, like I want to beat you up. And so, that to me like was was cool because, like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy that you guys look at me like that. You know what I mean? I'm just a guy, at least I look at myself that way. But they were looking at the thing that they could, like, be tangible. But
Right.
that made me realize, like, you know, it doesn't matter to lose. You know what I mean? It's what you do with those losses and how you come back and how you become better after that. Because there's a lot of those same guys that don't even fight anymore, right? And look where I am. I'm top 10 in the world. You know what I mean? I'm about to be middleweight world champion, and that comes with consistency. That comes with being able to take those licks and stuff like that. I do also think that there is a little bit of that has to do with the mindset and being able to be around a fighter like my father, who was very, very driven, focused, believed in himself, all those things that comes to be a world champion and to be a legendary fighter. So, and they say that confidence isn't always confidence can be borrowed, right? And so, with that being said, sometimes I think being around him and being around a lot of successful people, like I had mentioned, is one of those areas where I feel like I excelled because I was able to see those types of mindsets when it didn't go so well, when I didn't win, and people said that I sucked and all these other things, because it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is if I keep on sucking, right?
Right. Right.
But if I suck now, it don't matter, right? If I'm, my last fight I lost, it don't matter. If the next time I get a fight, if I win, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? And I look better, and I get the knockout, right? So and that's all people care about. And then all of a sudden you're the best thing ever, again,
Yeah.
So it's like, people's like memory is like shot, what I mean, which is not for them. They're gonna say whatever they need to say, and then you have to do whatever you need to do in order to be able to get that across and get to whatever goal that you're trying to get to.
Agreed. Agreed. And then speaking of my co-host, sliding through with a comment, he says, "What up, champs? Sorry I couldn't make it today. I wish I was with y'all. I had to work, but salute fam and Sugar Shane Jr. Keep getting those KOs."
Thank you, boss. And we
100%.
appreciate you having me come on, and we wish you could be here.
Absolutely. And then we got a go Seek.
Oh yeah, no, sorry to cut you guys off. I'm gonna just get going. I'm gonna have the little funeral to go to, so I just want to hop on and meet you guys, and thank you for having me. But I'll just hopefully I'll meet you in person, Shane Mosley Jr. and look forward to
Amen.
it.
Hey man, my condolences. I hope all is well with you, and
Thank you,
you
appreciate you.
get that all figured out, man.
Thank you,
And
appreciate you.
we'll see you next time. All right.
Yes, sir. All right,
All right,
Jose.
later, Seek. All right, catch you later, man.
Okay.
And then a comment from Joseph Boston says, "What's good, brothers?" And he says, "Shane, love the performance on Ontario. Had the honor to catch that live."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually one of my questions. So we can probably just jump into that one, man. How would you rate your performance, for your last fight?
It was decent. I would probably give it like a 7.5, 8-ish out of 10. It was good. I mean, I was working on a particular idea. I mean, if you follow me, you would know that, like, I've been saying, like, I want to be a control freak. So, like, being able to, um, you know, punch and then control the fight or the fighters, like, afterwards, right? You could do that with posting. You could do that with, like, all types of different variations, pulling the guy down, pushing him over, even punching him out of those things, punching arms, things like that. Just being real physical and being able to break a guy's posture and break his form without him getting a turn back, right? So let's say, like, for instance, I go on offense, right, and then I push him off balance. I then extend my turn, right? I have an opportunity because he can't get his feet back, right? So I go boom, 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 push him, and he falls off balance. I then have a turn, even if that turn means just walking away, because the judges see and everybody involved sees that was a clear moment, right?
Right.
So, and then also too, if you make a guy miss and you push him off balance or you pull him into you, right? They say make him miss, make him pay, but they don't always say how you can make him pay. And you can make a guy pay by pushing him off balance. You can make him pay by blinding him. You can make him pay by You know what I mean? Like all kinds of things, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that you always have to punch him. You just have to make him second guess that next move, right? So if I make him miss and he can still punch me, I didn't make him pay. But if he misses and then I move out of the way and he can't hit me again, I've made him pay.
Yep.
Right. So with that being said, I was implementing some game plans and just some things that I want to add into my game, and I think that that also by implementing that, you're able to have more ability to be in the mid range. The mid range is where we get a lot of those knockouts, right? The knockouts that everybody loves to see, that happens in the mid range, that kind of that danger zone, right? You know, of course, you can get that in long range. You can get that short range as well, like inside, right? Inside fighting and stuff like that as well. But the mid range is where you can be able to make him be able to think that you're in punching range and hit him, or you punch him, get out of range real quick, and then punch him back, right? That kind of like yellow area. So with all that being said, I was working on that, and it looked like it was pretty successful. So, you know, moving forward, you know, I'd love to continue on with that and continue like being a control freak.
Yep, added another skill to the toolbox there.
Right.
And then you see, to actually skip the comment here, just do boxing, says salute more boxing, no problem. Respect to the panel and great KO win for champ Shane Mosley Jr.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, and then a question here, Joseph Boxing, how soon is the next fight? Is it going to be in Cali?
Talks are October or / November. And then, you know, because I'm lucky to have Golden Boy Promotions as my promoter, they do a lot of their shows either in California or Texas, you know, because that's where, you know, the heavy, you know, Mexican fans are.
they turn out for their boxing, no doubt.
Yeah.
And then Jaguar says, salute. How many more fights do you think you need to get experience and confidence to see you in there for a belt?
You know, I would love to get in there with, you know, my next fight or the fight after that. You know, I feel like I'm ready. Obviously, I said that I'm, you know, top 10, right? Like in certain organizations, I'm even closer than that, right? I think in the WBC, I'm number 6 in the world. So, you know, I'd love to fight either, you know, this next one or the fight after that. More than likely, it won't be the next one, but it'll probably be the one after. So, you know, we just keep on grinding, keep on staying at it, and getting those wins, and you know, pretty soon I'll be a world champion.
There you go. And Shane, speaking of your deal with Golden Boy, you know, I assume you're probably weighing some other options from other promoters on the table. What was your reason for signing with Golden Boy?
Well, for one, they were giving the best opportunity at the time, right? So, like, you know, obviously what they were offering me at that particular time was greater than, you know, every single promoter out there. So, and then obviously they are California based. My dad was a part of them at one point in time. They produced some of the greatest fighters in history, right? I mean, Canelo Alvarez, Ryan Garcia, I mean, Deontay Wilder, like, you know, all these guys that they helped grow. I mean, a countless amount of guys. So with that being said, you know, I mean, I felt like they were worthy of, you know, being a part of, and also getting to that base. You know, I mean, I grew up in California. You know, I mean, I tell people all the time that I joke about it, but it's kind of true. It's like, I'm Mexican. I grew up in Pomona, California, bro. Like literally, like this 98% Mexican. Like almost every person I went to school with was Mexican. You know what I mean? Like there was hardly any black people there. So I tell people all the time, man, like I'm Mexican. I like, you know what I mean? Like I grew up with nothing but Mexican like friends. You know what I mean? Like, so it's really funny. And so like, why not be close to that and what I'm, you know, familiar with, you know?
Yeah, you're like, I've been invited to carne asadas already.
Hey, bro, like, you know how many quinceañeras I've been to, like, growing up, bro? Like, crazy, man. Like, all my girlfriends, like, even my wife, she's Mexican, you know, like Like,
Yeah.
that's what happens when you grow up in California, bro. Like,
100%. Another thing kind of happens, growing up in California, we got Hollywood, and, you were part of the Contender Series 5. How was that experience? Can you tell us about it?
Oh, it was great, man. It was a beautiful experience. I'm glad that I took the opportunity to get on the show. I have to say that I was very hesitant in getting into the show because, I didn't know um, a lot of things. Obviously, like when you're unsure of things and you're nervous, and this was a big, point, and I could feel that, like, when making the decision. Like, literally, I signed the contract the day before I went to go film. Like, because, like, I was supposed to sign it way before then, but, like, I was just procrastinating. Literally the day before, like, I'm like, do I want to do this? Like, yeah, because, like, all right, so there's 16 guys, and then, like, literally, if you lose, you can't fight essentially for an entire year.
Mm.
So because they filmed I think it's like 6 weeks, and then, like, obviously there's time before the show starts or airs, and then you have to wait every single episode in order, like, when your episode goes, then you can fight, and then you fight in the finale, right? So and then a lot of the guys were fighting in the finale, so you essentially had to wait until the finale. But if you lost on the show, right, because we essentially filmed a year before, so you would have to wait for, like, that whole entire process to happen. And so, not knowing the guys that were going to be on the thing, just being unsure, I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is the best idea. You know what I mean? And I had a lot of people telling me, like, hey, like, a lot of the Contender guys, they're not fighting anymore, and, there's only a few guys. So if you don't do well, there, you might get shelved by a lot of guys and a lot of people out there, and, just all these things. And sure enough, I prayed on it. My wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, was just like, babe, I really think that um, you should just go for it. Like, this is what we always wanted, and, like, go for it. This is your opportunity, you know. And I'm thankful for her, and I'm thankful for her telling me, like, look, I believe in you. You can do this. Da, da, da. Like, go for it, right? And sure enough, I did what I had to do, and I got as far as I did, and that was just a crazy experience. But that experience also taught me that, you know, um, focus. You know what I mean? Like, really, really, like, focusing on what you're trying to do and what you're trying to get done, right? Even
Right.
in the midst of, like, everything that was going on, and a lot of people there being like, gunning for me, like, a lot of the guys there were like, oh man, I want to fight Shane. He's easy picking, you know what I mean? Like, oh, all this stuff. And then after fights, having that focus of, like, look, I'm trying to win this whole thing, staying in that mind state and stuff like that. And you realize, which is really, really funny, is a lot of guys don't have the same focus
Mm.
when they're not fighting. like when a guy gets a fight, man, he's locked in, right? But when he doesn't have the fight, and that fight, like, ends, a lot of guys go, psh, like, oh, fight's over, and then going, and, like, and not necessarily in just, like, eating, but just, like, the mind state, right?
Right.
Like it's a long game. It's not a short game. You know what I mean? Like, and just like, really putting that into perspective, and having that mindset of, like, we take it one step at a time, but we stay focused on what the goal is. Like, and that should be everything and everybody, right? Like, it's like, in everything that you do, like, look, like, have a goal, get to that goal. Once you hit those plateaus, obviously you don't just go, but you, like, set new goals and keep on achieving those things and getting closer to that goal every single day.
Yeah.
So that really, really helped. And then being around all these guys too, was a thing where, like, you literally seeing everybody do everything in that moment, right? You see where
Right.
everybody's sleeping, you see where they work out, you see, like what separates all these guys, and it's the mindset. It's the mindset. Like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me if you're watching me. It doesn't matter to me if you watch what I eat and all these things. You could literally sit next to me, and I will um I will beat you. You know what I mean? One of the coldest things ever, Caleb Plant told me that he had told Ronald Graville. I don't know if you know who Ronald Graville is, but he
Yeah.
fought Benavidez because they used to be at TMT, and they Ronald always talked about like, oh, like, I beat Caleb, blah, blah, blah. Caleb told him one time, like, bro, I will fight you and I will beat your ass, and for the fight for 8 weeks, you could be I will be your sparring partner for me, and I'll still whoop your ass. I said,
Wow.
whoa. I said, damn, that like, whoo,
That's
talk
cold.
about, yeah. Like I was like, but that's the confidence, right? Like, and like I said, like, right, it don't matter what happens because that night I'm gonna beat you. And that's the state. That's who you are as a person, who you are as a human being, what you believe, right? All that matters. It doesn't matter necessarily what you're, watching, or if you watch me, right? Now, obviously, tactically, right, if there's certain things that, you need to be thinking about or doing, or, strategically, things like that. But for the most part, right, a lot of it's mindset.
Yeah, and funny you mentioned Caleb Plant, 'cause I saw something on social media today that was kind of funny because they're showing the clip from the Canelo weigh-ins when he kind of goes for the slap, and then they showed the recent Jamar Charlo slap, and they're like, at this point, if Caleb Plant's coming your way, just have your hands up.
Yeah, that's his MO. Like we used to be trained by the same guy actually, and I like I seen one other time that wasn't publicized of him doing that, and it's just like it seems like if he gets into a disagreement with you, yeah, be able to have your
Be
hands
ready.
up,
Be ready.
be ready to slip like Canelo.
Exactly. There's a boxing here with a comment says, what did it mean to you to be able to have the opportunity to share the ring with Canelo, being that your father once shared the ring with him? That's got to mean more than the titles alone, I feel.
I mean, like it'd be great. Like, I mean, obviously, if I want to be successful in this game, and I want to be, great and a legend, I got to be in there with other legends. So I would love to get in there with a legend like Canelo Alvarez. So if I get the opportunity, absolutely.
Yeah. And then Shane, I want to ask your thoughts on Spence versus Crawford. I think many are still shocked, including myself, at how one side of a fight that was. What were your thoughts now? There were a few days past that.
Well, luckily my coach like breaks down fights pretty good. He's pretty good at breaking down fights and seeing like habits and things like that. And he broke down the first 30 seconds of the fight. Well, I'll preface with saying that I don't think that Spence was 100%, just based on car accidents, surgeries, things like that, right? Obviously, he's not. He's like 32 years old, and not a normal 32-year-old. Obviously, his style. He's kind of like a Mexican style fighter, where like he, like is willing to trade. Obviously, taking a lot of punches. Obviously, if you're doing that in I mean, in the ring, you're doing that in sparring. And then not only that, we know that he got into a car accident and he was intoxicated. So that means that he drinks heavily, right? And so, with all that being said, you have a lot of wear and tear on his body. So granted, you obviously can't say that he was the same Spence that won the IBF title, right? But he was good enough to beat Danny Garcia, and he was good enough to beat Dennis Ugas, right? After that, that happened, he was willing to do that. And also, Terrence Crawford wasn't in the gang, the PBC gang. He wasn't, right? So if you're not in the gang, you don't get invited to all the parties. And so, with that being said, all those belts that what's the name had came from the PBC party, right? So he didn't have an opportunity to do that, and he had been calling for that fight for years, 5 years specifically. 5 years specifically, he was asked for it. So it's not his fault that he doesn't get the fight until now, right?
Right.
It's just not his fault. So he can only fight the guy that is in front of him. He can't fight the illusion, the imaginary guy that we all saw win that belt. He can only fight the guy that is in front of him. And that guy, he had a plan for it, and he broke down in the first 30 seconds. The first 30 seconds of the fight, he took away his jab, his most important shot, and made him fall off balance by taking that jab away. And then, sure enough, what was the first thing that he knocked him down with? Right after he jabbed him to the stomach, he came right over the top, boom, boom, put him down on his pockets. And that shows how much of his timing he had at that point for him to knock him down. Right? We had never seen him down, and he did it in the first 2 rounds. Actually, in the first 5 minutes of the fight. And that's not by accident. Because Danny Garcia, who's a legend, couldn't do it. Eugenio Ugas, who beat Pacquiao, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people, he couldn't do it. Why could he? Because strategy. Because he came in with a game plan. He figured out how to beat that guy, right? The guy that was in front of him. So yeah, you could, it really hurts my feelings to hear lately, that wasn't him, and the real, Earl Spence would have did this, that, and the third. Look, whatever guy you're talking about, he couldn't fight that guy, and that's not his fault. It was like he had been trying to negotiate this and put it together for the longest time. When he got the fight, he planned for that guy, and he beat that guy. So give him the respect. He deserves it. He did the work, right? Because if Earl would have won, nobody would have been saying shit about no car accidents, that he looked drugged, none of that shit. None of it would have mattered. He could have had the same look on his eyes. He could have had all this stuff. If he would have beat Terrence's ass, nobody would have said shit. Nothing, not a goddamn thing. So, with that being said, they need to give this man his credit. Stop, saying, oh, it was because of this, it was because of that. He had, loaded gloves. I've heard all kind of shit, right? But the man is just fucking great, and let it be that.
Let's give him his flowers, yo.
Gotta give him his flowers. I know before the fight I was like, man, Naoya Inoue was like the number 1 pound just because of how he did something similar to Stan Fulton, another 50-50 fight that he just kind of one-sided. And I was like, it's gonna take a hell of a performance to beat that, and Crawford delivered.
Checkmate within the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, man, yeah, for real. And the same thing Inoue did to Stephen Fulton, took away his jab. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, really, that's what it was. Why he couldn't have any offense. He took away his jab. You know what I mean? You take away a guy's best weapon, right? Especially a guy that, can move like Stephen Fulton, or a guy that controls with his jab like Earl Spence. You got more than half of the fight won right there. You know what I mean? So with that being said, but I agree with you. I didn't think that what's the name could break the performance like that, because I just thought it was going to be more competitive. You know what I mean? Just purely based on, just like what I knew about Spence. I figured that he was going to break him down and win, right? Because I've seen I've seen Bud change in a fight. I've seen him able to make adjustments and come out victorious. So I figured that was gonna happen. He was gonna figure him out. Earl is usually, at least from his past fights and what he showed, he never had to adjust. So why would he even plan on making adjustments? So if you take away that first option, the guy doesn't, train for anything else, right? Because he always usually that plan works. So why would he train for anything else? Why would he think anything else is different, right? So with that being said, I figured once he figured that out, which was going to be at some point in time, Bud was going to take over and win. But I didn't think it was going to be that easy, that fast, and happen like that. You know what I mean? I was kind of thrown off guard. Very similar performances as far as taking away the jab. Obviously, I think that Terrence's performance was deserves more respect because of the guy he beat and how easy he made it look. He made it look really, really easy. So, hats off to him. I thought in a way actually did great. I'm actually going to do a breakdown on because ESPN put a similarity of my dad and in a ways, in a ways,
nice.
right hand.
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to do a little breakdown on that. And I think that it'd be interesting for people to see and my take on it.
Looking forward to seeing that.
No, much love to your pops too, man. His style was just different. It was just special fighter, man.
Because he had that Mexican style, man.
As De La Hoya.
Yeah, from Pomona, California, baby. Yeah, that Mexican style.
Let's go.
And I tell people, I tell people all the time, like that's like the only Mexican he ever lost to was Canelo Alvarez, and Canelo doesn't necessarily fight like the normal Mexican style, right? And that says something by my dad only ever losing to him because that style my dad was comfortable with. He felt he was not, bothered by it, like that coming forward and, trying to walk you down, stuff like that. Yeah. He loved that stuff. The guys that gave him issues were the guys that boxed and moved and, like stuff like that, right? Because he didn't grow up seeing that. And that was a different type of style. My dad wanted to fight, you know what I mean? He was like, all right, come on, bring it. I'll show you. Right. But, guys that want to move away and stuff like that, he had problems with. But so, you'd love to see Vito of Edgar Valenga, man. I think Munguia's gonna get first dibs, man, because they went 168. I'm campaigning at 160, but I would love to fight him in the future. That'd be great.
That'd be a great fight.
Are you comfortable at 160?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, you saw what I did last fight.
Ooh, boy,
you saw what I did last fight, man. It was easy for me.
Some fighters say it's tough. Like we have a homeboy. He says that even 160 is being tough, so he's considering going up to 168.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't, everybody's body is different. Everybody's understanding is different. But like for me, it was, I was always a middleweight. You know what I mean? I'm a middleweight. You know what I mean? When I got the opportunity with what can I think his name right now? Gabe Rosado. It was more so the opportunity. You know what I mean? It's like you can fight Gabe Rosado.
Oof! Hell yeah!
All right,
let's do it.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And even that fight was 5 weeks. So I got 5 weeks for that fight. Wow. So with that being said, you know what I mean. Like it was just like, all right, well, I don't have to cut as much weight, and I know I can beat him. So
yeah, we gotta get you against Munguia too, man.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love that fight too. You know what I mean? Like I think honestly that fight for me, is more valuable because he already has his name. He's already established, right? Right. Going into the fight, like I'm B-side, just is what it is, right? Obviously they pump him up. They don't pump me up like that. Whatever. So I know that I'm going into that fight where I got to knock him out. They actually offered me a fight to fight him in Mexico, and I was like, yeah. So I gotta shoot him. I gotta shoot him to win. Okay. So you saying that I gotta shoot this guy?
We'll go with you.
Man, listen, nah. So I think in order to even out the playing field, if ever that fight comes about, I think that I would want to come into that situation as a champion, right? So. And or even coming up, I win the belt at 160, go up to 168, I go fight him, right? If he wins the 168 belt, I'm coming up from 160, right? We fight for a belt, his belt, whatever the case is, right? It's even better. It's even bigger, right? You're talking about champion versus champion rather than, that's Shane's son against our beloved Munguia. Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just think, like, for me, it's just like it don't make sense for me to take that fight if I got to go through so much in order to do that. Where, I had to go up in weight and all this other stuff. A guy like Gabe Rosado was a little bit different, right? Yeah. Obviously, people favored him, but it wasn't like, oh, you got to kill this dude in order to win. You know what I mean?
And that needs to be an MGM fight, man. That has to be a classic MGM boxing match, man.
Yeah, man. Like I would love, I would love to do it. I'm not, just like right now, that's not my focus. My focus right now is to be 160 world champion, and then actually to unify all the belts.
Word up.
I want to be undisputed.
That's
I mean,
correct.
shit. If I see that there's an undisputed spot, open, why can't it be me? You know what I mean? Why can't that be me? You know what I mean? Like I think I'm good enough. So that's what I'm going for, and if he comes down to 160 again, then sure, fuck it.
There you go.
Yeah. So speaking of undisputed, I got to ask you one more fight. Undisputed versus undisputed. This is being billed. Canelo Alvarez, Jermel Charlo. How do you see that one playing out?
Listen, I give a lot of respect to Canelo, but in my opinion, this is a lose-lose fight for him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I understand why he's doing it. Obviously, he had to get in the point of entry. He signed a deal with these guys. You got to play ball with them. Obviously, you could fight, some regular, 168 pounder that they got, just some random guy, or you could fight, a guy like Charlo who has undisputed. He's, he's well established, well known. You could put more butts in the seats. But if you lose to this guy, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you win, it's also like, he's a 154. You know what I mean? Like it's like, it was like when Triple G beat what's his name?
Is it I know you're talking about
the one from England, the one that Spence took the belt from.
he fought Andrade, right? The guy fought Andrade, or no, Brook?
Was it
Yeah, Kell Brook.
Kell Brook?
No, yeah, Kell Brook. He fought Kell Brook, right? Like Kell Brook was in his ass, and everybody was like, "Oh shit," you know what I mean? Until he broke his orbital bone. But like I thought Kell was doing good. I thought he was winning actually. But also too, with that being said, if it wasn't for that fight, you probably wouldn't even be seeing Errol Spence as the champion, the 147, because that fight, what's the name, broke his orbital bone. Triple G broke his orbital bone, and then Errol Spence broke his orbital bone the next fight out, right? So, and both fights he was winning. Both fights he was running, like he was running the show. So with that being said, if he didn't have that broken orbital bone, if he didn't take that fight, we might not be seeing Errol Spence or this whole thing happening. But nevertheless, I think that it's Canelo should win by knockout. Obviously we'll see where his head is, his preparation, and if he still has the love for the game. I think his past few fights, you're starting to see like, I'm rich as hell. You know what I mean? Like, I want to go to the golf course, and like it's like you could kind of see like that. If we see the old Canelo sparks this guy, but a kind of current Canelo where he's going to golf and stuff like that, and just kind of it just doesn't seem like his past few performances just hasn't seemed like that guy we used to know. Not to say he's not great still, but it's just not that like as great as it used to be, right?
It can be that build-up fight, though, huh? It can be that build-up for Benavidez.
Hey, listen. It's starting to look, based on kind of just, what was been said that he's dodging him. This whole like, he might be trying to wait him out to see like how long he could stay at 168 before like he just gonna have to go up. Like he ain't got no choice because he can't make 168 no more. And they go, oh, well, I wanted to fight him, but he moved up. Like shit, damn, we missed him. Because I'm sure it's not easy for. I mean, I've seen Benavidez. That dude is a big dude, man. To be making 168 I'm like, wow, bro.
Huge.
Like, that is, yeah, he's a big dude for 168. So I'm sure he'll do his best, but if he continues to hold out and continues to do this, I'm not sure how long he can stay at that weight. And then Canelo, he's not a 160. I mean, I feel like he makes 168 fairly easy, right? You know what I mean? Like it's probably not too bad of a struggle for him. So yeah, but he may not be trying to fight Benavidez, and Benavidez has been looking great lately, and so and he's been looking kind of subpar. Not to say that like he wouldn't show up for the fight, and not saying that he can't beat him, but just saying like we're it's starting to look like this. You know what I mean? Like where it's like coming in, and maybe he knows that.
And I agree with Jaguar. Says if Canelo ducks Benavidez, it would be disappointing. I feel like with 3-fight deal with PBC, it's got to be one of the 3 fights. Otherwise,
I mean, you would think. I mean, but people are saying that the Benavidez is going to be fighting Andrade.
Mm-hmm.
So they might be. Yeah, so they might be, and Andrade is not an easy fight for anybody. He's awkward. He punches good. He really fights in that that danger zone, kind of like how Bud Crawford does. You know what I mean? He does different things. So not saying that I think he wins, but he's capable of winning. And if Benavidez is not on his game, he could win that. He could win that fight for sure. Like it's crazy to think because like towards the from 6 on, and obviously I think that there was help from the referee, if we're going to be honest, right, when he fought Caleb Plant. But it's weird. It's weird to think that most people had Caleb winning the first 5 rounds and then Benavidez winning 7 rounds and just like really taking over, right? But if he just would have won one more round, we would have had a draw, which is crazy to think, right? So with that being said, if Andrade wins 6 rounds, because if Caleb could do it, I think Andrade could do it, right? We may see Benavidez lose his belt, and Andrade is a good boxer. He can fight. Obviously, he was a world champion one point in time. It's a good fight, and it's dangerous for him. It's dangerous for Benavidez. So, and maybe they did this little like tournament. Hey, winner fights Canelo.
There you go.
Right? Canelo fight this guy, and then maybe one other guy, and then winner fights Canelo. But I think another dark horse, man, is David Morrell, man. How come?
Yeah.
Why not that fight? You know what I mean? Why David? You can say the same thing about David not fighting David Morrell.
Yep.
Yeah. So definitely a dark horse division.
Yeah, man. Like obviously, I don't feel like he's been tested the same like like the other guys, but you could see the skills there. You could see like like he has a lot of good stuff. So
yeah, absolutely. And then a final question we got for you, Shane. It's not really a question; it's more so opening up the floor. What's the message you want to send to your fans and supporters watching the interview?
Oh man, thank you guys. I appreciate you. You know what I mean? Like I'm glad that you guys give me well, I should say I'm blessed to have this opportunity where you guys, support me and support my family by watching, and I'm able to provide for my family and do what I love. You know what I mean? I get to fight for a living. You know what I mean? It's such a crazy and great thing to be able to do, man. So I want to appreciate, I appreciate you guys, and I want to thank you guys for allowing me to do what I love.
Absolutely. Congrats on your baby girl. Now you're a girl dad, Shane.
There you go, man. Now you're gonna know what we feel, man.
You guys got girls?
I got two. A 10-year-old and 3-year-old. It's beautiful to have them. It's a different side.
Yeah. So my 2 boys, 10 and 7, and then I have my 9-month-old.
You're gonna have fun with her. You're gonna have fun.
She already has 2 security guards, bro.
For real. They watch over her like nobody's business. So
They're gonna roll up on the boyfriend like on Bad Boys 2. Who is
Right.
this?
Who's this?
100%.
Oh, 100.
All right, well, everybody, go give Shane a follow. It's at Shane Mosley Jr. on Instagram. That way, you don't miss any updates in his boxing career. And Shane, thank you
All
so
right.
much for the time.
Real quick, before we get going, what fights do you guys want to see? Like, you know, just in general, like we got, what fights do you guys want to see?
Man,
I love talking about boxing.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah,
Go
we're
ahead,
gonna
David.
you're gonna have to come on our box talk shows too, then.
Oh man, for real.
Yeah, so you go first, David.
Oh man, well, we can't wait for that Mexican rooster fight, man. Valdez Navarrete.
Oh man, bro, that's gonna be
That's gonna be
incredible,
wild.
man. It's gonna be incredible. I think Navarrete gets the nod. He's just so awkward and just so like he just goes balls to the wall, man.
Random punches, huh?
Yeah, and you know, it's hard to prepare for when you got a guy like that throws like that. Obviously, I think that Valdez could knock him out if he gets the right punch. You know what I mean? Like how he timed Burchell, man. God. But you know what I mean? I just think the fortitude and just the the will of Navarrete is gonna get it done, man.
Yeah, one that I would want to see.
Fight?
Maybe.
Sorry.
Because it's gonna be
out
here. It's gonna get. Yeah, it's out here in Vegas, right?
I think it's Glendale, Arizona.
Arizona.
Oh, is it? Maybe not. If it was out here, maybe I can make it, but nah.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say the one that I want to see is kind of light heavyweight. You know, better be Vibble. I just don't think we're gonna get it though, because better be's getting up there in age, and I know Top Rank has said they don't want to work with Vibble because of his Russian status. So I don't think we're gonna get it. Yeah, but I would love to see that. See who's the top dog 175.
Man, that would be so disappointing if they don't do it.
I know.
That'd be extremely disappointing if they don't get that done, man. Yeah. I would really hope that they can settle whatever differences they need to settle in order to get that fight done, because I think it'd be a great fight and a fight that everybody needs to see. Everybody's getting that Undisputed, so like why not?
Yeah, join the party. Yeah, join the Undisputed party.
Man. Yeah,
I think that's more anticipated than Reeves versus Deontay Wilder.
Ruiz against who?
Oh
man,
Wilder.
That'd be a good fight.
And they want to make that Wilder.
You know what I mean? Obviously, you can't. It's hard to go against the guy that has essentially a crazy knockout rating like Deontay. But you know what I mean? Like obviously, like I think that Andy, if he's on his game, he can give anybody hell.
Yeah, I love to see that one too. Awesome. All right, Shane. Well, we'll let you go again. Thank you so much for your time. It's awesome.
Let me see. Yeah, let me see. One I want to see. All right, so this is one that's not like scheduled, but I would love to see. Is Shakur Stevenson and Vasily Lomachenko.
That'd be awesome. I saw Shakur called him out again, so hopefully.
Yeah, I think it's just a crazy boxing match, and it'd be a changing of the guard, man. So obviously, I think because of his youth, I think that Shakur wins that fight. But you never know, especially with the performance that he gave. I would also love to see them do the rematch, man. That was such a great fight. Like just no matter who won, you know what I mean? Like whoever you thought won, like it was just a good fucking fight. So like, that's what people love to see. You know what I mean? Like it was super competitive all the way to the end. And you didn't know who was gonna win when the bell rang. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is crazy. So like that's the type of fights you want to see. You know what I mean? Those like really, really good fights and yeah. So I like to see those. Obviously, I'd like to see Usyk and Tyson Fury. I hope that they can make it happen. Oh yeah, Ben Rodriguez and Estrada, that'd be crazy.
Yeah,
that would be crazy. Go on.
I think Bam is a little bit too young for him now, but man, prime for prime, that'd be crazy. Well, like if
what about a trilogy?
Wait, which
trilogy?
One?
Your hometown neighbor Leo Santa Cruz and Carl Frampton.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. That'd be a good one. That'd be a good one.
I was thinking more like because I think it was also they fought twice, right? Abner Mares and Leo Santa Cruz.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
All
didn't
clash.
what's the name win? Leo won all
Oh
those.
yeah, trilogy.
Yeah, I think
with those guys.
yeah, I think the first one was like really close, and I think the second one.
Leo lost one to Frampton.
Yeah, I think he lost the first one in Frampton, and then he got it back.
With Frampton, he lost the.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about Arnold Barboza? Arnold Barboza.
Oh yeah, we want to see him too.
What's his name? From he's with Top Rank. He
Progress.
was,
no, top rank.
No.
Jose Ramirez.
Ramirez.
Ramirez. I think that'd be a good fight. I think they would be a good fight. Barboza and Ramirez. That'd be a good fight, man.
Ramirez, no.
Yeah, Jose Ramirez. I think Barboza deserves a title shot, man. He's been fighting tough fight and winning.
He's been putting in his work, man. They need to give him a shot. They need to give him a shot. I do think that like he's probably just because of the power, it looks like like maybe his power is not like transferring over. Like I'm not saying he doesn't have power, but like it just like he's not getting the knockouts like what I mean. So like and that weight class, there's a lot of guys with a lot of power. You know what I mean? So does he have enough power to beat those top guys at that weight class? I mean, that's what we'd love to see. But put him in there to prove it. I mean, I think that he's up for the challenge, and I mean, I'd love to see him prove it. We were in the amateurs together, so I would love to see him get a world title, man. That'd be great.
Yeah, he says Barbosa needs to chase another sanctioning body. W is doing him dirty. Yeah, I saw that. Joseph Boxing, they don't want to make him the mandatory in the WBO.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, then a couple more matchups here. Joseph Boxing says Inoue versus Robesi at 126. That'll be dope.
Yeah. I mean, he got to get through what's his name first, but yeah, absolutely.
I think is it Tamales?
Tamales, yeah.
And then Jaguar Prograis versus Haney at 140.
Yeah, man, that'd be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one. Awesome. All right. Well,
I think Haney needs to get rid of them belts, right? Like you going up. I mean, obviously,
what's up with that?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like he said, it's hard to make 135. You know what I mean? Like now he just trying to throw shade against Shakur, man. Like he throwing shade now. He ain't going back down to 135. He know that.
Yeah.
Like he just hold on the belts. Yeah, you can talk about shit. I'm gonna hold these belts.
Facts. All right. Well, thank you so much, Shane. We'll definitely have you back. We had a blast. Thank you so much.
Thank you, fellas. Appreciate you.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.